Before we begin, take a moment to subscribe and join this journey through history, because some stories are not just remembered, they are felt. It was a quiet Sunday morning, December 7th, 1941. The sun rose gently over the calm waters of Pearl Harbor. On the island of Oahu, the sky was clear, painted in soft shades of gold and blue. Sailors aboard the massive American battleships prepared for another peaceful day. Some were finishing breakfast. Others were writing letters home. A few still slept below deck. There was no sense of danger, no warning, no alarm, just peace. Then, at 7:55 a.m., the sky began to roar. From the north, hundreds of aircraft appeared, descending rapidly. They carried the red rising sun insignia of the Imperial Japanese Navy. In a matter of seconds, the calm Hawaiian morning shattered into chaos. The first bombs fell. Explosions ripped through Battleship Row. Smoke erupted into the sky as torpedoes tore into steel hulls. Sailors scrambled in confusion, many believing at first it was a drill. But this was no exercise. This was war. Within minutes, the battleship USS Arizona was struck by a catastrophic explosion. A bomb pierced her deck and ignited the forward ammunition magazine. The blast was so powerful, it lifted the massive ship from the water. In seconds, she became a burning tomb. Over 1,100 men were trapped inside. Flames consumed the harbor. The USS Oklahoma capsized after multiple torpedo hits, trapping hundreds beneath her hull. The USS West Virginia sank at her moorings. The USS California slowly filled with water and settled into the mud below. Men leaped into oil-covered waters to escape burning decks. The sea itself caught fire. Above them, waves of Japanese bombers and fighters circled relentlessly. Airfields across Oahu were attacked to prevent American planes from responding. Hangars burned. Aircraft were destroyed before they could even take off. The attack had been meticulously planned. 6 Japanese aircraft carriers had launched 353 planes in 2 waves. Their objective was clear: cripple the United States Pacific Fleet before America could interfere with Japanese expansion across Asia and the Pacific. And for nearly 2 hours, the plan worked. By 9:45 a.m., it was over. Silence returned, but it was no longer peaceful. It was heavy, suffocating, filled with smoke and grief. More than 2,400 Americans were dead. Nearly 1,200 were wounded. 18 ships were damaged or destroyed. Hundreds of aircraft were lost. Across the ocean, in Tokyo, Japanese leaders waited anxiously for news. They believed they had delivered a decisive blow, but something critical had been missed. The American aircraft carriers were not in port that morning. They were at sea, and that detail would change the course of history. The next day, December 8, 1941, President Franklin D. Roosevelt stood before Congress. His voice was steady but firm as he described December 7th as a date which will live in infamy. The United States declared war on Japan. Days later, Germany and Italy declared war on the United States. The world was now fully engulfed in World War II. For many Americans, Pearl Harbor was more than a military disaster. It was a moment of awakening. Isolation ended overnight. Factories roared to life. Young men lined up to enlist. Families prepared for sacrifice. In the months that followed, the United States would rebuild its Pacific Fleet. The aircraft carriers, spared at Pearl Harbor, would become the backbone of American naval power. Battles like Midway would shift the balance of the war. But on that December morning, none of that was certain. There was only smoke, only fire, only loss. Today, the wreckage of the USS Arizona still rests beneath the waters of Pearl Harbor. Oil droplets, often called the tears of the Arizona, still rise slowly to the surface, a silent reminder of those who never came home. Visitors stand quietly above the memorial, gazing down into the water. The names of the fallen are engraved in white marble. The harbor is peaceful once more. But history whispers there. Pearl Harbor was not just an attack. It was a turning point. It reshaped global power. It redefined America's role in the world. And it proved how quickly peace can vanish when nations move toward war. The men who lived through that morning carried its memory for the rest of their lives. The sound of engines, the shockwaves, the smell of burning oil, the cries for help. It was a morning that began in silence and ended in flames. If this story moved you, take a moment to like and subscribe, because remembering history keeps its lessons alive.